Hey, GRAMidei here. So grandma and Amadei, GRAMidei. I got another story. This one is The Story of Ferdinand. It is by Monroe Leaf, and the pictures are by Robert Lawson. All right. This is El Toro Perros Fernando. Looks scary. Let's see. Once upon a time in Spain, there was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. Oh, look, I see a turtle. But not Ferdinand. He liked to just sit quietly and smell the flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. It does look like a nice shady spot. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. It's a pretty good way to spend the day. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. That's the mama. Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head, she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. I like it better here where I can just sit quietly and smell the flowers. His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she just let him sit there and be happy. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. Oh, look at that. You look on the page, it keeps going bigger, 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 bigger. Looks like he is 2 years old now. That's a lot of growing for 2 years. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. Wow. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to just sit quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. Those are a little bit different hats. All the other bulls ran around snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think that they were very, very strong and fierce and pick them. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care, so he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down. He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Oh no, I think this is gonna be different. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would sting him, and that's just what this bee did to Ferdinand. Look at his eyes, they're so funny. They're like, Wow, did it hurt. Ferdinand jumped up with a snort. He ran around puffing and snorting and butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. The 5 men saw him, and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. Look at how funny that picture is. Oops, right there. He's like, ah! And the 5 men were like, yes, this is just what we wanted. This is just a bull we were hoping for. They didn't know he just got stung by a bee. So they took him away for the bullfight day in a cart. So they're heading to Madrid. What a day it was. Flags were flying, bands were playing. Everyone was probably very excited. All the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. Aww. Fernando. They had a parade into the bull ring. First came the bandoleros with long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick in the bull and make him mad. Next came the picadores, who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick the bull and make him madder. Ugh. That doesn't sound very nice at all. Then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome, and he bowed to the ladies. And he had a red cape and a sword, and he was supposed to stick the bull last of all. That's definitely not very nice, and definitely not very fair. Then came the bull, and you know who that was, don't you? Ferdinand. Oh, look at him. He's right here. He's peeking around the corner. I don't think he wants to go in. I wouldn't want to be picked and poked. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the bandoleros were afraid of him, and the picadors were afraid of him, and the matador was scared stiff. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. Yay, yay, Ferdinand the Fierce. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers and all the lovely ladies' hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. This way. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled. The bandoleros were mad, and the picadores were madder, and the matador was so mad he cried because he couldn't show off with his cape and his sword. Oh, look at him. They're all trying to get him to be mad, and he doesn't want to be mad. He just wants to smell the flowers. He doesn't want to fight. So they had to take Ferdinand home. This way. Bye, bull ring in Madrid. And for all I know, he is sitting there still under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly. He is very happy. I think that is it. The end. I think the moral of the story is you gotta just be yourself. And if you have the right people, you'll be loved no matter what. I love you. Have a great day.